Welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm Matt Tritton alongside Northwest Missourian Sports Editor Tony Botts, KZLX Sports Director Ross Folkmer. It's time for Face Off. We've got 3 different topics to go over, and you guys are Northwest sports experts, so expect to get some good insight out of both of you for this. Starting off, Northwest football team went to Omaha this weekend, beat up on a not very good UNO team, beat them 58-23, 44 points in the first half alone. Is this team back on track like they have in the past 5 years, make another national championship run, or just beating up on a not very good team? Tony, we'll start with you.
Going into this game, Churchman said they're going to be young. UNO is going to be young, and they showed that. They had a lot of sophomores starting. They even had a freshman in there, James Franklin out of Kansas City. He put up great numbers against us. First 100-yard rusher since Bernard Scott did it in playoff game, November 2008. As far as a championship caliber, we're getting there. I think we're going to be. I think at the end of the season we're going to be Florence bound. We bounced back. Northwest did what they had to do to bounce back from Kingsville. Kingsville was a good team. They were talented. I don't think they were Abilene Christian talented, but like Churchman said, we lost that game. We did things to lose that game, and I think I think they went into UNO with a goal. They wanted to simplify things, get back to things they do well, and I think they did that. I think they were very efficient on offense and on defense. They made adjustments at halftime to cut down on that UNO running game, and I think they're moving in the right direction.
I actually think it was kind of actually a plus that they had 2 weeks to sit there and simmer about it. Sit there and think. You could have gone 1 week, you still might have had a little bit of a hangover, but give it 2 weeks to hangover for a week. Second week, we got to come out and show the nation we did not play to our best. This team coming in, I think, thought in the Kingsville game, we are the best team in the nation. And you could kind of see, I could see kind of in Bowles', I could see in his emotion, his body language, I could see in other players. And you can't go into the game thinking like that because you're going to get beat when you think, you're the best. You got to think, down. You got to think, we're a good football team, but we still got to prove. This is a whole new year. This is 2010, not 2009. We've got to show we've got to show this nation what we are. And they didn't do that in that first game versus Kingsville. And they come out and they practically beat themselves. I couldn't agree more, Tony. But are they back to championship caliber? No. But like Tony said, back on the path. I couldn't agree more. They are headed in that direction. And I think, give it time, and hopefully they continue to improve each week. They're going to get better, and I think this is going to be a team to reckon with when it comes into the later part of this year.
I have to agree with you guys. They came out, and you know what? They had a big chip on their shoulder, and I think that's probably what they needed. Like the past 5 years, take it out in the MIAA conference, beat UNO, go to Truman next week, beat up on them, come back home. You got family weekend from Missouri Western, so it's setting up for them. They can tee off on some teams and then play a pretty tough game against Missouri Western. Moving on, MIAA expansion. Talks are going around, possibly move up to 16 teams. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Ross, start with you.
Well, I think it's a good thing. We've heard all about, especially this last summer, we heard all about Division I conference expansion, and now it's just trickled down to Division II. I got no problem with it. I think it's going to be a great deal, pulling in more teams, and not just any teams, good quality teams. UNK, teams like that are going to make this conference better. And yes, there may be more. We talked about earlier about how are they going to fit all these games in here? Well, you may have to cut down. You may have to play certain teams some years and other teams not. It may just work out that way. And you may have to throw in a championship game for the conference, which, hey, talk about something neat. You could play that in Arrowhead or something neat like that. It'd be a great deal, I think, for the entire conference to expand. It's going to be interesting. And, I look forward to seeing what really goes down when Dr. Bob Richter looks at this and says, how are we going to make this work?
That's obviously the biggest challenge facing Dr. Bo Richter is the schedules. How are the schedules going to work out? We're bringing in schools from Oklahoma, St. Louis, Kearney, and even Jefferson City, and they want to cut down on traveling. They want to cut down on the traveling. They want to keep students in class, and that's the big issue here. But I would have to, with what Coach Churchman said at one point, that with 16 teams, you can't play everybody. If you have 2 teams that are 11-0, who's a champion? And you don't want that. Dr. Bob doesn't want that. No coach wants to have to face that. The only way that benefits is there are a couple good teams coming in. There's going to be a lot of good competition in MIAA, but at the same time, that's going to hurt us when it comes to regional rankings and when we're trying to get a couple teams in the top spots in the regional rankings. If we can't determine an exclusive conference championship or a conference champion, that's going to hurt them. And but it has benefited. We have a new MIAA network. We're getting people on TV. This past week, UNO and Northwest were on it, and was I happy? No, because that game lasted 3 hours and we had to take media timeouts, frequently. But it's exposure, and that's exactly what this conference needs and deserves. And so I think it's moving in the right direction. But I think Dr. Bob faces a lot of challenges right now with that.
Let me tell you, TV did extend that game, and it was kind of cold out on the field, so I'm not looking forward to those cold games October, November, December.
It was not favorable conditions, I'll
Time
tell
to grab
you
your
that.
parka.
Yeah.
I was glad to be up in that heated press box. So.
I bet you were out down the field. Well, another thing about that, too, you're adding Lincoln to this conference, and, I haven't seen the Oklahoma schools, but I was able to watch Lincoln play Missouri Western a couple weeks ago, and, man, they are not a very good football team, and that's going to drag down a little bit of the prestige of the conference. But
a conference is all about different teams, and I thought, from what I've heard, I thought Liberty's got a pretty good basketball team. So I think the conference is just not for football. I mean, that's always the big picture, but other sports are involved as well.
I think Lindenwood in the next couple of years, if they continue to be successful in football. So last year they were runners-up in the NAIA championship. They're going to continue to get exposure. They're going to get athletes. They're going to compete a few years down the road, though. So, I mean, it's going to be the main conference teams that are going to still run this conference as far as football goes. But the next couple of years, other teams are going to catch up. They're going to get their own, and they're going to get theirs. So it's going to be a strong conference.
All right, last topic we got for tonight, Kansas City Chiefs starting off the season 2-0. The first game was a big Monday nighter against San Diego from a national audience in the rain. Got to win. Is this team for real?
Being from the Kansas City area, I have to take my Kansas City hat off right now, and no, they are not for real. They are not a playoff contender. Shannon Sharp called it. Chiefs would be in the playoffs this year. Shannon, you're a great tight end. I question your ability as an analyst and your opinion right now.
Don't we all?
Yeah, this is not to mention he's a Denver Bronco, so we'll all remember that. This is not a playoff caliber team. Castle needs to be consistent. He has not been consistent yet, and it's going to hurt us. However, we're having a lot of rookies step up. Moyaki had a great game today, had a lot of great snags. Didn't see a whole lot of Jamal Charles today. We saw a lot out of Thomas Jones. That's good. He was a pretty key offseason pickup. But this isn't like a playoff team. This is not a playoff team. I think we'll be 800 if that, or 500. Excuse me, 500. It'll be a good season.
All right, running out of time, Ross. Quick thoughts.
Quick thoughts. If they played San Diego anywhere else, they probably would have lost. Arrowhead was rocking. That really helped them out. Special teams was huge. Matt Castle is still, no offense, not that great a quarterback. The defense is sketchy. I mean, they almost lost to the Browns. I'm sorry. Playoff team? No way. I'm sorry. I mean, there's just no way you can look at it. I love the rookies. Give it some time to mature. Maybe a great football team. But right now, nowhere near the caliber to be an NFL playoff team.
Make Matt Castle drive only 12 yards. They wouldn't score another touchdown against the Chargers on Monday night. That's going to do it for Bearcat Update this week. Thanks for joining us for 20 Bots. And Ross Bolton, we appreciate you guys coming on. Hope to have you some other time. Stay tuned, Channel 8, and make sure to tune in next week for another edition of Bearcat Update.